Okay, thank you, Helena. Thank you everyone for joining us today. I'm really thrilled to be here. So as Helena said, my name's Hazel. I work in the corporate sector in insurance, and I'm a head of learning and development there. So transferable skills is absolutely one of my passions. As I get involved in training managers and staff in my current day job, but I'm also an executive coach and a mentor. So as Helena said, this session is, we've got sort of 55 minutes. We want to keep sort of 10-15 minutes at the end to give you a chance to ask some questions. I aim for this to be as reasonably interactive as I can on a virtual platform. So I've got some exercises that I'll invite you to participate in, and you can share your thoughts as much as you want to, or you can quietly reflect as well. The slides will be shared after this session as well. So without further ado, let's crack on, and please do use the chat box to put your thoughts and comments in, and also to tell us about what you're looking to get from this session. But up on the slide here, I've just got the 4 main areas that I'm going to cover today. First of all, we're going to really look at what do we mean by transferable skills? What's the definition? Let's make sure we're on the same page. Then we're going to look at, okay, so if we know what transferable skills are, how do we identify our own unique skills? Okay, we're all different. What are we strong at? What are our transferable skills? Then we're going to think about, well, how do you link those skills to career ideas, jobs and positions, and roles and tasks that you may be interested? How do you know which ones are going to be suitable to your skills? And then finally, I'm going to take you through a technique which is widely used in order to show you how to demonstrate what your transferable skills to a prospective employer or somebody that you're going to be doing a task for or a role for. So that's what we're going to cover off in this next 55 minutes or so. So first of all, I would like to welcome your thoughts on what people think transferable skills means. What's any ideas, any comments? We'll pop those in the chat box. What do people think transferable skills are when we talk about that? Any thoughts? All a bit shy today? Yeah.
Would you like us to talk, or?
You pop them in the chat box, that would be really helpful. And
I think everyone's just typing things up, so.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, skills that you can use in different jobs, absolutely. Different areas of life, yes. Yeah, good ideas coming through. But different skills, different areas. So what I've put down on this slide are the 2 main things that I think they are. First of all, they're core skills and abilities, their strengths, abilities, and qualities that you can apply to a wide range of roles and positions and tasks. Okay. Something you've been successful in doing in a previous role. Yeah, absolutely. They're skills that you've developed over time. You've mastered them. You do them without even knowing you're doing them sometimes. They're those types of skills. So why are they so desirable to employers? The reason why transferable skills are desirable is because it means that you can go into that role and hit the ground running. They don't have to train you. You can start contributing. If you've got transferable skills around customer service, around communication, about resolving conflict, what benefits of those to employers? Because that means you can come in and start doing your job. And when you have to communicate, you know what you're doing. When you've got to resolve conflict, you know what you're doing. So it's all about the benefits that you're bringing to an employer that they don't have to spend time training you on. So abilities, skills that you've developed over time, and as people are saying in the chat here, previous roles, skills that may be called one thing in one field and another in another. Yeah, absolutely. There's lots of generic terms, but we can sort of bunch them together. So how do you identify your own transferable skills? Any top tips? How have people identified what their transferable skills are? Anybody want to share? Okay, I'll bring up some ideas on the slide. There's 4 ways that you can think about how to identify your own transferable skills. Yeah, and actually somebody's brought the first one up there, looking through a job description to see where you match. Feedback from others, self-analysis. Gosh, you're all amazing. You've got 3 out of my 4 already on the slide. Let me talk through some of these to give a bit of context. So job search profiles, job descriptions, career profiles, absolutely they can help you identify where your transferable skills are. Having a look on job sites, recruitment boards, job boards, looking on career sites, what's required in a job? What are the skills that they're identifying? And then thinking about those skills and your skills, think about, well, how do I rate myself? Am I highly skilled at that? Or am I a mid-level skill? Or am I a lower skilled? Am I not so great at that? Okay. So job search profiles, career jobs, job descriptions, all great ways that you can look at what skills are required for a job and, you know, compare yourself to those skills in terms of how you rate yourself. Self-analysis is a great way to understand yourself more. Self-awareness, I think, is a key skill that can bring so much richness to how we learn about ourselves. But self-analysis to learn about transferable skills, this is where you can start asking your questions such as, what do I like doing? Why do I enjoy doing that task and I don't enjoy doing this other task? Where have I had success? Where have I had really good feedback? What have I achieved? And what skill set did I use to achieve that? Those types of questions and having some reflection time to really think about the answers to those questions can help you think about the transferable skills that you might have. Self-assessments. So there are lots of self-assessment tools out there, and I will recommend one for you because it's a freebie that you can go and Google. But self-assessment, there's lots out there. You can do 360-degree feedback, which is where you engage people from lots of different, lots of people that are close to you that you work with or you work in different ways with, and ask for their feedback on a set of questions. You've got tools in the workplace such as DISC, which looks at work preferences. So how do I like to work in the workplace? All of those tools work on a basis of asking you several questions and then boxing you into a likelihood. And those likelihood or personality types can really help bring some self-awareness. You may have heard of Myers-Briggs, which is a famous psychometric tool, again, based on asking lots of questions around, are you an introvert? Are you an extrovert? How do you think about things? Do you think big picture? Do you think detail? Are you analytical or are you more logical? Are you a people person or are you a task person? So Myers-Briggs is a great assessment tool. Now, if you Google 16 personalities, that is an online free tool which is based on Myers-Briggs, and it will ask you a series of questions, and then it will give you a personality type, which is based on the 16 personality types that Myers-Briggs has come up with. But the great thing about this is in the report, it gives you a little bit of a career view. So it shows the types of careers that might be suited to that personality. It's a fun assessment, but it can bring great deep awareness. And the last one there, somebody else, Jeanette, you mentioned this as well, is get feedback. Feedback is a gift, okay? Doesn't always feel like it's a gift, and we're quite often nervous about asking for feedback, but feedback is a gift and it's a great thing to do. Most people give feedback and come from a good intentional purpose. They want to help you. So ask your friends and family, what are my three strengths? How do you describe me? Those sort of questions. But you could also ask them, why do you ask me to do this particular task instead of asking Joe or Halima or Simon? And see what they say, because they're asking you because you've got specific skills that they think are going to work for that task. So 4 things that you can do to help identify your transferable skills. So looking at career profiles, job profiles, having some self-awareness and asking yourself some questions, getting involved with self-assessments. They're a fun way to learn about yourself, and get feedback from the people around you, people you work with, the people that are close to you. Find out what they think. I'm hoping this is all making sense. I'm going to invite you to do a small self-reflection exercise, and you do not have to share this at all with us, but you're welcome to put share your thoughts in the commentary. But what I'm going to ask you to do is, I'm hoping you've all got paper and pen to hand, is think about at least one task, role or job that you've completed and achieved success. Now, this could be a job in your everyday life. It could be a job in the workplace, it could be a previous job. It could be an educational task. Okay, it could be related to a hobby or an extracurricular activity. But think about something or 2 or 3 things that you have achieved success in. And I'm going to ask you these following 3 questions and give you time to just write down what you think. Okay, so we'll take a good 10 minutes to do this, to allow you some time. Yes, we can send the slides will be shared at the end of this session, Jeremy, and I would encourage you to do this exercise in your own time as well, where you can take more time. So if you've got a task or something to hand in your head, in your mind, where you've achieved some success, the first question I'm going to ask you is to think about up to 3 skills that you used to achieve that success. So what did you do to achieve that satisfaction and that success? Did you have to be organised? Did you have to collaborate with people? Did you have to make a decision or solve a problem or meet a deadline? Okay. Did you have to talk with others or work with others, or was you on your own? Did you have to use mathematical tools? What skills did you use to make sure you could achieve and complete that task to the success that you wanted? Try and think of up to 3 skills that you used. You may have more. Okay. And if you've noted down a couple of roles or a couple of tasks, then think about 3 skills in both of those areas. They may be the same skills, they may be different. Okay. So the second question I'm going to ask you when you're thinking about that particular task where you've achieved success, what did you enjoy about it? What did you absolutely love about doing that task? You was motivated to do it. You were driven to do it. What drove you to be able to do it? Okay. Was it that you were trusted to just get on with it? Was it that you had the benefit of working with a team so you could get other people's ideas and thoughts? Was it the task itself? You just enjoy that type of task or role? Or was it the satisfaction of getting a job done, ticking it off your to-do list? What was it that actually motivated you to do that task? So we've thought about the skills that you used. We've thought about what motivated you, what you enjoyed about doing the task. And the last thing I'm going to ask you to think about in relation to that particular success is, did you have to overcome any challenges or issues or problems? And if you did, how did you get over them? How did you overcome those challenges? So did you have to extend the deadline? Did you have to go and speak to other people and get their feedback? Did you have to influence somebody? Did you have to put in extra time? Okay. Did you have to go away and learn something new? Did you have to replan that task? Okay. So some of you may have chosen one thing to think about. Some of you may have chosen up to 4 things. When you're looking at that list that you've got in front of you and what you've written down in terms of the skills, what you enjoyed and how you overcame challenges, what patterns can you see? What insights can you take from that piece of analysis that you've done? Just quietly reflect on that. You know, can you take learning from that? Can you see what your strengths are? Can you see how you've achieved your success? If you've noted down 2 or 3 successes, are the skills similar across those skills? Did you use the same skills? Was you motivated and enjoyed the tasks each time? Or is there different motivators? Have a think about what similarities that you can see across those tasks. So a lovely self-reflection exercise, and please do practice this more at home when you're thinking about your successes. When we think about our successes, it's almost like a positive cheerleading moment going off in our brains and a burst of endorphins, because what we're doing is positive affirmation of what we've achieved. and that's always a good thing to do. Does anyone want to share in the chat what insights they've taken from that exercise? What can they see in terms of similarities or any insights at all that have come through? And as I said, I will share those questions. Oh, I like it. A creative self-starter. Yeah, amazing. Anyone else want to share what they can see from that exercise, what insights they've learned? Have you suddenly realised that actually you've got will of steel and determination and you will get that job done? Or maybe you've discovered that you're extremely organised and you didn't realise you was before. I like being nosy as a journalist. Yeah, curious. Curious is a wonderful skill or a wonderful quality to have, to constantly question and have that curiosity. Lovely ideas. Thank you for sharing those people that have shared. So these are some of the transferable skills that you may have identified. You may have written these down. Confirm, enjoy collaboration. Yeah, you either like to work on your own or you like to work with others, or sometimes you might want to work on your own for some tasks, but in a group with others. It's great to have that self-awareness in terms of what you like to do in those different tasks. So this slide here is just noting down some of the more generic transferable skills that you will see on job boards, you will see in career job descriptions. They may be listed as desirable skills or nice to have skills or must-haves or any of those types of things. They may be things that you've actually noted down in your self-analysis exercise just now. And they can be variations of that. So somebody said right at the beginning of this session, oh, actually transferable skills can be called one thing, and then in other areas they can be called another thing. So what are we going to do with these transferable skills? I'm going to do a quick fire round with you now, and hopefully this will be quite fun. And what I'd like is you to share in the comments how many you get. But what we're going to do is try and match the skills to the jobs. Okay, we're going to have 30 seconds, or roughly 30 seconds in my head. I'm going to call out one of these skill sets here on my left hand side, and I'm going to get you to think about how many jobs or roles or positions you can think of that would need that skill set. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. You all ready for your first one? Okay, let's go with teamwork and collaboration. So 30 seconds, think and write down as many jobs or roles or positions that you think teamwork and collaboration is needed. So this could be jobs that involve relationship building, getting on with people, helping other people, a team player, helping others, jumping in when you need to, covering people if they're off, training others. Teamwork and collaboration. You might have teamwork, you might have collaboration, you might have variations of them on a job description. What jobs can you think of? Final few seconds. Oh, I like it. I like them coming through. Teaching, nursing, design, yeah, marketing. So many different jobs, construction. Teamwork and collaboration. So who could think of over 10 jobs? Give me a thumbs up or a yes in the chat if you thought of 15 jobs or 15 positions. Maybe not as many as 15, 10? Anyone had 10? Yay, 10, well done, Catherine. What about 5? Who thought of 5 jobs? Yeah, great, 5 jobs. Yes, good. I'm assuming nobody had 0, but I hope that demonstrates, and from what you've shared in the chat, so many different jobs require an element of teamwork and collaboration. transferable skill. Let's do another one. Let's go with decision making. Okay, decision making. So off we go. We have 30 seconds again. So decision making, this could be good judgment. It could be not just making a decision, but knowing when to make a decision, making the right decision. It could be not delaying on a decision. Knowing when to refer could actually come under decision making. Knowing when the right time to refer. So a few more seconds, thinking about all the jobs that might require an element of decision making. Dealing with budget and spending, yeah, absolutely, especially if you're in charge of the budget, or if you've got to go to someone and ask them a question. Hiring, yeah, healthcare, recruitment, manager in any sector, nurse, teacher. Oh, firing, yeah, GP. Lots and lots of jobs there which require a decision. So who got more than 10? Under 10? Yeah, 11. Well done, well done. Okay, good, good. I think we've got time maybe for one more. Let me have a look at the time. Yeah, let's do one more. Let's think about dependability. 9, love it, thank you. Let's go with dependability as our last skill. So 30 seconds. What jobs might require a skill set where they're asking for dependability? Now, dependability could be described as reliability. There might be a variation on that as reliability or being punctual, time management, meeting deadlines, being self-motivated, being able to work independently or as part of a team or both, honesty, high standards, adaptable, flexible, all of those can come under that whole genre of dependability, loyalty, reliability. So we've got them coming through. Let's have a look. Driver, postman, nurse, carer, teacher, team leader, caregiver, counsellor. Such a wide variety of jobs. Such a wide variety. So again, who got more than 10? Anyone want to offer whether they got more than 10 for that skill set? 12, well done. Nice. 14. Oh, that's superb. You're on fire. Great. I hope you enjoyed that small exercise, and what I aimed to do with it was to just demonstrate how many skills are transferable across so many different roles. And if you've got those transferable skills, how beneficial is that to the employer? How great, how much have they got to give you? You know, how much can you give to an employer if you've got that dependability or decision making, those management skills, that teamwork skills and experience? Yeah. Okay. Thank you for contributing with that. So the final part of my workshop today is to really hone in on, so what we've talked about so far is, you know, what do we mean by transferable skills? How do you identify your transferable skills? How do we link them to career ideas? How do they span those different roles? But another question that's often asked is, okay, so I've got this skill set, but how do I demonstrate it, especially for a role that I've never done before, or a role that I'm interested in, or a role that is very different to what I do now? So how do I demonstrate that? And STAR is a technique that you can use to prepare. It can help you with preparing your resumes, your interviews, and for actually demonstrating in an interview or an application. So I'm going to talk through what STAR stands for, this acronym, and then I'm going to go through a couple of examples where the examples are not work related, so you can see how our outside experiences can absolutely demonstrate our transferable skills. Okay, so S stands for describing the situation that you used that skill in, and also when it took place. T is for task. So that's explaining about the task that you took on or you did. What was the goal? What was you planning to do? A is for action. So what did you actually do for this task? And then R is the result. So what was the result of your action? So you're talking about what was the situation, what was the actual goal, what you did, and then the results to demonstrate your transferable skill in action. So let's have a look at an example. So the first example I've got here is a senior marketing executive. Now that could be a senior anything executive, couldn't it really? Tiny description at the top there. I'm not going to read that out. And as you know, with job descriptions, they're much longer than that. But the skills that I've pulled out of this job description were around project management skills, influential skills, communication, creativity, and design skills. Okay. So a question that you might be asked in interview or in application, if you were applying for this role, is describing a time when you have successfully managed a project in its entirety. So this is really looking at project management skills. So let's have a look at how you could demonstrate this using STAR. I'll talk through this. So situation. So I'm going to use a non-workplace situation. I'm a secretary for a Sunday football club. That's the situation. That's what I'm doing. I'm secretary for a football club. And part of that is to make sure that everyone pays their subs on time. Okay, so I need to collect the subs in and I need to submit those to the league secretary. So that's quite a big job that I have to do. That's the situation I was in. The task or the project that I was given is, do you know what? The problem we were facing was how do we collect these subs from players and check the availability of those who could play. It's a problem that we need to solve. You know, every week I'm chasing people and I'm not getting the information, I'm not getting the money I need. Needs to be in place for the start of the new season, so August. So I've got my deadline in there and I've got the task that I've been assigned. So the action, what did I do? What did I do in this project then? So I found an app, I designed the logo, I designed the interface, I thought about the user experience for our players. So they are sub 18, you know, young boys, got a phone. How am I going to be able to get this accessible to them? I set up the admin access, I gave the players the access, and this included options to pay their subs, but also tell me if they're available or not. And they could do that from downloading one app onto their phone, which is glued to their hips. Because as we know, most teenagers, actually most people now have a phone that's glued to your hand. What was the result of this? The result was that I managed the project in its entirety. The app was a success. The players love it because it's an app on their phone. They haven't got to do anything different. Did I get everything I needed? Yes, I got the subs paid on time and I could see their availability and all they had to do was check the buttons. So I've not only just demonstrated how I've managed a project in its entirety through using the STAR technique, I've actually demonstrated as well my creativity and design skills, my communication skills in terms of how I communicated that out to the team. And hopefully that gives you an example of how you can use a non-workplace task or situation that you're in to demonstrate to an employer how you've done something. So I'm going to show you another example and then I'll see if anyone's got any questions on this. So in this example, this is a head of human resources. That might be a human resources manager or you know, head of human resources lead. You've got a little description there at the top, and the skills that are required in this role are around managing a team. Now, managing a team could be leading, it could be managing performance, it could be hiring and recruiting as well for the team. Effective decision making, big thing for HR. Ability to read and influence a variety of people. Oh yes, you've got so many different people from junior right up to senior. Resourcefulness in the face of obstacles. Yeah, you've got to be able to be resourceful and deal with all those different situations that you come up again. Communicate with impact, decision making. Yeah. So a question that you might be asked on this in this area is, how have you responded to a team member who wasn't pulling his or her weight? Now, you could demonstrate that even if you are not a current manager, because if you're working in teams and you're working with people and you're working in projects, you're going to have influence, and you're going to be working alongside people where you may have had to do this. So how have you responded to a team member who wasn't pulling his or her weight? Let's have a look at an example here. So I'm not a HR manager, but I have been working on an engagement project. Okay, so I'm involved in engagement, I'm involvement in people. It's with people across the business, so it's in a wider team, and one person wasn't always getting their part of the project in on time, and this was slowing everyone else down. So I've explained the situation that I was in. I'm working with people and I've described the problem. What was the task that I was assigned then? So I took it upon myself to take on this task because nobody else seemed to be raising this. I worked in the same location as this person, so I felt that I could do this easily. And the action that I took, I spoke to her, I privately told her that we needed her work in order to complete the project on time. But I also gave her an option, and I advised her if she couldn't do the work, or she felt she couldn't do that, then to tell us, so that we could then reallocate those tasks to someone else. So I've done it in a non-confrontational way. So going back to that ability to read and influence and using resourcefulness, I've approached her in a calm manner, and I've given her an option to back out if she wanted to. And what was the result? She apologised, didn't realise the impact of her, her slowness on the rest of the team, and therefore going forward was much better at completing the work tasks. So I've demonstrated a situation where I'm not managing staff, but I've actually responded to a team member who wasn't pulling their weight. It's demonstrated that I've been able to influence somebody, that I've made a decision. It's demonstrated that I've been quite independent and empowered, and I've done something about a problem that I could see, and it resolved. So any questions on those two examples? What do people think about using non-workplace examples to demonstrate to an employer on a question that they might be being asked? What's your thoughts on that? Any comments? Easy? Not easy? Too hard, Hazel? Can't do this? What do you think? Any thoughts? Oh, that's a good question. Does it really address the scale of a real life job? What do people think? What do other people think? If you're somebody who hires now and you're asking somebody a question around how have you done this, how have you managed a project, and somebody explains it, can be easier to explain than work competencies. Yeah, can. Any other thoughts? Many tech programs needed these days. Yeah. Absolutely. Don't be frightened, I think is the message that I'm telling you, is don't be frightened to show to an employer your transferable skills in action. Dealing with conflict, making decisions, communicating with care are all skills that we need in the workplace. They're all skills that if people don't have those skills, things could go dreadfully wrong. Yeah. When we talk about transferable skills, people sometimes think about hard skills and soft skills. And hard skills are those technical skills that everybody can learn and everybody can take on board. So an employer can think about the skills that they can teach somebody. Everyone can learn a book, they can read, they can be shown a system very easily, quite quickly with a training program. The softer skills and transferable skills that come with life experience, that come with tact and diplomacy, that come with you mastering in lots of different situations, is much, much harder to train somebody in the workplace. And if you can bring that to a workplace, you bring a lot of richness. Okay. As I said, the slides will come round after the session, and I would encourage you to take STAR and just see how it works for you. So think about situations where non-work and work situations, think about some of those work projects or work tasks that you're doing. How can you use STAR to demonstrate some of your transferable skills? Okay, so let's just recap on what we've covered, and then I'll open it up for some questions. So we've looked at defining what transferable skills are, which are absolutely those core skills, qualities that you've mastered over time in roles, in tasks, in life in general, in education. We've looked at how to identify your own transferable skills. So thinking about looking at the skills on career and job sites and job descriptions. What skills are there and how do I rate myself against them? Do I have those skills? We've looked at self-awareness, self-analysis, and also some self-assessment tools that you could use. And I've talked about asking for feedback, because that can really help affirm what your own strengths are. We've looked at how you can link those skills to a variety of jobs. So we did that quick fire round, and we could, 14, 15 jobs we found for some of those transferable skills. It's amazing when you really look at how those skills span so many different jobs. And then I've talked you through the STAR technique, which is a technique that's used across industry to help you think about how you demonstrate your transferable skills, either on your resume or in an application, and also in interview as well, when you're explaining what your transferable skills can bring to an employer. So we're just coming towards the end of my talking. And before we open it up for questions and comments and thoughts, we've just got this slide here. I am offering discounted sessions as a coach if people want to pursue a little bit more insights into themselves. I offer one-to-one career coaching, and my details are on the screen, both the LinkedIn and the email address. But Halima, let's open it up and see if anybody has got any thoughts or questions, or anything else that they want to bring to this session in this last sort of 10, 15 minutes. Any questions?
Any comments, anything anyone wants to share with us about what they'll take away from the session maybe?
Oh, project manager roles, technical and require experience in a particular field. Is there any way around that? Yeah, you're quite right. Some of the technical roles, and in fact, lots of roles, there are going to be what I described earlier as the hard skills. So those are the things that can actually be learned on the job. There are technical skills that we can learn, but there's also a whole heap of other desirables. So I imagine in those project manager roles, there's going to be, if you think about project manager, you are managing projects, you are making decisions, you're collaborating with people, you've got to be able to get on with people, you've got to be able to work with diplomacy and tact, meet deadlines, time management. There's a lot of skill set there that you have to have as well. Okay, so really thinking about not necessarily what I can't do. We always do, and we can as humans just say no, we can't do that job, because we see all this stuff that we think, oh my gosh. But think about what you can do. Think about the strengths that you could bring to that job.
Is there anyone who wants to share what they'll take away as well? Anybody else? Or maybe you've got a burning question in terms of your situation and your transferable skills that you'd like Hazel to answer.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd be amazed at how brilliant you are. You know, you go through life. We're all carers and parents and everything else that we do. You know, you think about, for example, managing your budget every month. That's accounting in its basic form. You know, people don't think of it like that, but you know, you stick to your budget, you look at your incomings and your outgoings, and you work out what you have to spend. That's basic accounting skills. You know, share more and with confidence. Yeah, absolutely.
And we've got another resource that we'll share as well on our website and via email after the session, sort of a transferable skills exercise that you can kind of pinpoint your transferable skills and write examples about it. Just a little resource to get you started as well if you're in this situation where you're looking for roles and you're looking at your transferable skills. So hopefully, as well as this session, hopefully that will help you as well.
There's a comment in there which I will just pick up on. So from somebody here, the toughest thing I found taking transferable skills to another field is that I'm up against others who fit the role better as they're actually in that field. Is there anything I can do to make myself more visible? Yeah, you know, it's an employee market. It always is, and you have to. But what I would say is, first of all, don't disclaim yourself. Don't dismiss yourself from it. Absolutely put yourself forward for it. Okay, so that's the first thing. Go for the role. Think about why you want that role. What motivates you about that role? What you can bring to that role? What passion you're going to bring to it? And put your application in. You know, when employers are recruiting, yes, they're looking for that technical skills, but they are looking for those transferable skills as well. And they're also looking for people that want the job, that are going to show their passion. Myself, I did a career move about 10 years ago from a technical insurance processing into the world of learning and development. Complete change really in terms of what I was doing. I did some qualifications around it, but I moved into it by taking on projects and getting experience. So thinking about, you know, how can you learn some of those skills by taking on projects or experiences or secondments to get some of that skill set as well is helpful. But don't ever discount yourself. Make sure you put that application in. The very least you will get is really great feedback, which will help you to improve and move on.